on immigration policy. Watch.
The biggest problem is that you have some great, wonderful people coming in from Mexico that are working the crops, they're working cutting lawns, they're doing a lot of jobs, and I'm not sure that a lot of Americans are going to take those jobs. And that's the dichotomy. That's the big problem, because you have a lot of great people coming in doing a lot of work, and I'm not so sure that a lot of other people are going to be doing that work. So it is a very tough problem. But I do say this, you have a law, or at least you have to establish a law, and I guess we're sort of a country, and other people aren't supposed to be coming into our country illegally.
Now, the 15 million illegal aliens already in the United States, what do you do with them?
I think right now you're going to have to do something, and, you know, it's hard to generalize, but you're going to have to look at the individual people, see how they've done, see how productive they've been, see what their references are, and then make a decision.
All right. On a case-by-case, it's going to take a long time and a lot of people.
But, you know, you have some great productive people that came in.
No doubt.
You have to give them a path. You have 20 million, 30 million, nobody knows what it is. It used to be 11 million. Now today I hear it's 11, but I don't think it's 11. I actually heard you probably have 30 million. You have to give them a path, and you have to make it possible for them to succeed. You have to do that.
You have to give them a path to citizenship. Where have I heard that one before? I know, Jeb Bush and Lindsey Graham. And, of course, every Democrat as well. So he's, I don't know, 0 for 1 there. There can be negatives of talking tough, but I'm willing to accept that if you're going to get the truth and the policy that I want. But I don't want someone making stupid mistakes that the media can easily exploit. With Trump, you're getting all of the negatives of someone who says tough, dangerous, stupid things, along with the policy of Jeb Bush and Lindsey Graham. Let's try some other issues, though. How about taxes? When Trump ran for president in 1999, he proposed a gigantic wealth tax on the American people. A 14.25% levy that he calculated would raise $5.7 trillion and wipe out the debt forever in one fell swoop. A wealth tax going into your bank account and pulling out money from bank accounts. Obama is into his second term, and he hasn't even suggested that. On the plan, Trump said, by my calculations, 1% of Americans who control 90% of the wealth in this country would be affected by my plan. Is this the guy in the second place of the GOP primary, or a guy second in line to get into a rape tent at Occupy Wall Street? The only place that's conservative is in Sean Penn's wildest economic fantasies. But Trump has never been a conservative. He's got some serious political identity issues. Since the 80s, he struggled so much with his identity, he has switched parties 5 times. Remember, a few months ago when people wanted George Stephanopoulos fired because he gave to the Clinton Foundation, remember that? Well, Donald Trump has given even more to the Clinton Foundation than Stephanopoulos did. He's given over $100,000 to the Clintons. So we want to fire a media member for donating to the Clintons, but we want to hire a GOP candidate that's done the same? Is that what you wanted, a candidate who is likely to face, I don't know, a Clinton? Really? It doesn't stop there, though. Since 1990, he's given at least $541,650 to Democrats, far more than he gave to Republicans. The guy gave money to Rahm Emanuel and Harry Reid. Harry freaking Reid. So that's 0 for 2, okay? Now let's go to an easy one. Everyone gets this one right? Abortion. 1999, Trump said, I'm totally pro-choice. I hate it, and I hate saying it. I'm almost ashamed that I'm pro-choice, but I am pro-choice because I think we have no choice. What? And I believe it's a personal decision that should be left to the woman and their doctors. Here's what he says now.
So it's pro-life, right? But it's life of the mother, very important, incest and rape.
Okay. So say a woman is pregnant and it's not in any of those exception categories and she chooses to have an abortion.
Depends when. It depends when.
Well,
it depends when. But the answer is if it's not in those, excuse me, if it's not in those, I'm pro-life. Yeah. Mark, very simple. Pro-life.
Very, very simple. Could there be? I mean, that was seriously one of the single worst explanations of being pro-life I've ever heard someone give. Now, remember how suspicious we all were of Mitt Romney's conversion to pro-life? You're going to let Trump get away with that? I'd say he's 0 for 3. Okay, well, at least he's got to have a good take on who the worst president of all time is. You know, he's a businessman. Maybe he cites FDR for price controls and confiscating gold, right?
Well, I think Bush is probably the worst president in the history of the United States. Bush has been so bad, maybe the worst president in the history of this country. He has been so incompetent, so bad, so evil, that I don't think any Republican could have won.
Bush, worst president. I mean, he wasn't perfect, really. But Bush, over helicopters burning in the desert, Jimmy Carter, over creator of the Welfare Society, LBJ, over racist Woodrow Wilson. And sure, he doesn't say, you know, he likes Obama now. Of course he's not going to say that now. But when he was running the first time, Trump said Obama had a chance of going down as a great president.
I think he has a chance to go down as a great president. Now, if he's not a great president, this country's in serious trouble. I think he's going to lead through consensus. It's not going to be just a bull run like Bush did. He just did whatever the hell he wanted. He'd go into a country, attack Iraq, which had nothing to do with the World Trade Center, and just do it because he wanted to do it.
Just from a judgment perspective, you thought Obama was going to rule by consensus? Really? He also went on to call him, he said he was one of Obama's biggest cheerleaders. It's not a surprise because in the past, Trump wrote, quote, "We must have universal health care." He indicated his ideal vice president would be diehard Obama supporter Oprah Winfrey. And he was a registered Democrat until 2009. Not 1979, 2009. Surely there's got to be something he's good on, some issue that we can see a shred of conservatism present. He is a business guy, of course. How about eminent domain? Years ago, Trump was looking to add a few more parking spots to one of his casinos in Atlantic City. To do so, he needed to acquire the property of Vera Koking, a senior citizen who had lived there for over 3 decades. So did he make her an offer she couldn't refuse? No. He decided to use eminent domain. Yes, this conservative argued that the government needed to take a wrecking ball to this sweet old woman's home, her private property, because it was an eyesore.
Everybody coming into Atlantic City sees that property. And it's not fair to Atlantic City and the people. They're staring at this terrible house instead of staring at beautiful fountains and beautiful other things that would be good.
Basic to freedom is that if you own something, it's yours, that the government doesn't just come and take it away from you.
Do you want to live in a city where you can't build schools? Do you want to live in a city where you can't build roads or highways or have access to hospitals? Condemnation is a necessary evil.
But you're not talking about a hospital. You're talking about a building a rich guy finds ugly.
Thank God for John Stossel. He publicly humiliated her, demeaned the place she called a home. Also, he could have a few extra parking spaces and have more people gamble a few more dollars at his crappy casinos. That's not all. On eminent domain, of course, because the big one is when the government destroyed people's homes in Connecticut so an office building could be built in the Kelo decision, which might be the worst Supreme Court ruling of my lifetime. Trump said he backed the government 100%. Eminent domain is more than something he supports. It's his business plan. In fact, a nice chunk of Trump's wealth has come from using the force of government to take property from private individuals to line his pockets. Beyond the sheer lack of basic humanity, it definitely takes a liberal progressive to do something like that. There is nothing remotely close to conservative about Donald Trump, and thus there is no reason he should garner your support. Zero, nada, zip. If you want a pro-amnesty, pro-wealth tax, pro-donating to Rahm Emanuel and Harry freaking Reid, and his likely opponent, Hillary Clinton, pro-choice but pro-life during election season, thinks Bush is the worst president in history, wants Oprah to be the VP, self-described Obama cheerleader, believe we must have universal health care, pro-using the government to steal homes from elderly people, pro a losing candidate that has zero chance of winning, and a progressive, then Donald Trump is totally your guy. There you have it, America. The science is settled. Let's just once and for all stop with the Donald. Let's just stop. As Glenn would say, never again is now.